Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by T.A. Forsberg and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
So a couple of years ago, I'm noticing I shared a story about the Lansing Built To Last competition. And today we get to discuss the recently named winner of this wonderfully collaborative competition. Here to discuss the Lansing Built To Last competition is the Vice President of Community Outreach and Customer Operations for Techsmith, Michelle Massey. And this year's winner, founder and Director of OurSpace 517, Michael Austin. Welcome, Michelle and Mikey.
Thanks for having us.
Good to be here.
Now, Mikey, right? That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, I saw that on the website, so I just jumped with it. I didn't ask for permission, but I like it.
No, that's perfect.
So I'm going to start with Michelle. So remind our audience how the idea for the Lansing Built To Last kind of came about.
Absolutely. In the beginning of the pandemic, we were seeing a mass exodus, not only of employees, but of businesses sort of taking that pause, or some of them not even being able to survive during that time. And I had a conversation with an individual that said, if the state doesn't come back to Lansing, we're going to implode. And I said, well, that's not a reason why a business should go out of business,
right?
Because the state of Michigan is not here. I said, if there is a business that resonates with the community, that business will stay in business. We have a lot of long-term businesses in downtown Lansing and in the Lansing region. And I said, well, people know what they want better than maybe another development company.
Right.
So I said, what if we have a competition to find the next great and best business that would resonate with the community? And that's where the thought started. And then I started calling individuals saying, hey, if I have a competition, will you be willing to give a building away for free for a year? Will you give away business insurance to the winner for a year? And this community just resonated around that idea. And thus it was born.
Many hands make light work.
Absolutely.
And for those not from the mid-Michigan area, so Lansing as a capital city has a bunch of state workers that populate, the 9-to-5 downtown Lansing streetscape. And when the pandemic hit and work from home became a thing and the state of Michigan sent their employees home, it definitely kind of became a ghost town. So just to paint that picture. So who is eligible to apply for the Built to Last? And were there certain criteria that they needed to meet? And what was the process that they went through?
Absolutely. When you want to attract a particular type of business or individual, you do have to have criteria. And one of the things that was really important to us was that it was a business that had not been established for a long period of time.
Yep.
So we were looking for a brand new business or a business that had been in existence 2 years or less.
Got it.
So we weren't looking to have an established business expand their footprint in the local region. We wanted something brand new and fresh and something that would resonate. We wanted something that would attract that after 5 p.m. crowd or the weekend crowd back into the region and into the downtown Lansing area. And it had to be something that was sustainable.
Yep.
So given the fact that there was this exodus during the pandemic, we didn't want to get another business that couldn't survive. So we called it being disaster resistant. And so,
right on. Yep.
And so those were really the primary ones that we were looking for in order to make sure that we were finding a business that wasn't just a good business, but a business that was built to last.
Right. No, that makes total sense. So how many applications did you get?
So the first year we did it, we had 54 applications.
Okay.
This year we had about 30,
okay.
But we weren't in the middle of a pandemic anymore, right? So people were working, maybe they just didn't, have that time. But the quality of the proposals that we received this year far surpassed the ones that we had in the previous competition. And what was so amazing were that they were all so good that we not only had a winner this year, we actually had a runner-up. We wanted to make sure received the publicity of being part of this competition because everyone was so good, which does my heart good to know that there are so many fantastic businesses or concepts for businesses that people haven't even thought of before.
Right. Okay. So one of these companies, the grand prize winner, who we'll be talking with here in a second, you mentioned they get a place and a bunch of services, and obviously there's a bunch of sponsors and companies that stepped up and are providing these necessary services to allow them really to launch the right way, right? To have 1 year worth of free pretty much everything, certainly lets you get your coffers kind of full, get your feet under you, make a couple of mistakes that aren't going to cripple you too bad. And then by the time that stuff runs out, hopefully you've got a good running start and a nest egg. Michelle, before I turn it over to Mikey, can you tell me a little bit about some of the other companies that stepped, and I know there's so many, and we'll give people the website so they can go look and make sure everyone gets the joy. But what types of companies and services kind of collaborated to help people like Mikey? What do they get? So
the I Development Company, they provided or are providing a building and rent-free for a year.
Wow.
Rathbun Insurance is providing money for business insurance for a year. MSU FCU is providing all of the setup for a business account along with business education, financial education for not only the winner, but all 5 finalists get that as well.
How nice.
We also have lawyer services. WLNS has stepped up for a year worth of media support. Redhead Design Studio is providing marketing, website development, or review for a year. The Board of Water and Light is providing an assessment of the environment to make sure that it is as probably environmentally friendly as possible, which gets a discount if they incorporate some of their recommendations. We have the Community Foundation that has been engaged. The Lansing Chamber provided membership for a year. The University Club of MSU provided membership for a year. Athena's providing membership for a year. We have so many people that are not just giving of their time, but actually giving of the benefits of their organizations in order to make sure that it's not just a feel-good moment for the winner, but it is actually a networking opportunity for them to establish inroads that they may not already have. Because you can be successful in your own right, but when you're looking to envelop and encompass this entire community in your endeavor, it takes those types of organizations to really be fully committed in order to make sure that those things transpire. So it's not just about the short term, let's get your business off of the ground. It is about the long term becoming part of the fabric of this community in order to be able to have that sustainability and that long-term value that these businesses can bring. That's
just such a fantastic idea and story, and a tip of the cap to you for organizing and getting all of that done. And Mikey, over to you, man. So OurSpace 517, what are you? What do you do?
For sure. Yeah, so we are a community organization based right here in Lansing. We're made up of transplants and locals, natives, and we're all passionate and we all love Lansing. So we are a community organization that really works to activate corridors throughout Lansing with culture and wellness-based programs. So on one hand, you'll see us doing just free, accessible programming things around Juneteenth, our health and wellness, our Hispanic heritage, and really looking to make Lansing a premier tourist destination. So through everything that we do, we kind of have that in the back of our minds. But then along with that, outside of the work that we do in the community and driving traffic to our corridors, we also offer services to other local businesses, organizations based here in Lansing. So whether that's marketing, whether that's video production, whether that's event planning, strategic planning, we offer all of those things, really with that goal of building capacity so that these other organizations can do really the same thing that we have in mind, really just loving Lansing and driving our own mission forward and really just looking to leave an impact in our community. So really those are kind of the main things that we look to do with OurSpace.
So how did you get started on this path, and how long have you been operational? Your website looks legit and it says certainly functional. You're not getting ready to launch. You're already out there.
Yeah. So we are definitely in full swing of things. So it's funny, Michelle mentioned just some of the criteria about, being a new business. For us, we started, our very first event was the Juneteenth weekend, or the Juneteenth festival. It started off as a single day event back in 2021. Before then, we had done a ton of events, a bunch of just community engagement throughout the city, working with other organizations. And this was kind of our first big event where we're juggling sponsors, and we had about 1,200 people come out to our very first festival in Reeltown. And then from there, we kind of had that idea of this is more than just a single day event. This is more than just a moment. We are going into a space and we're making it ours, whatever that looks like. And Lansing is so diverse. And when you think about the businesses that represent Lansing, when you think about the people, the cultures, and what we were able to create in Reeltown that year was something that felt like our space. So the second year, we said, instead of us going in for a single day, let's really play with that idea of activating a space, activating a corridor. So the single day went to a 4-day weekend the second year, and we were able to pack out every single event throughout that entire weekend. And then everything that we saw the first year ended up doubling and tripling the second year. So where we saw 1,200 people come out, we saw over 3,000 people for the festival and throughout that weekend. Where we saw 30 or 40 different vendors at the event, we saw close to 75 vendors, primarily with us celebrating Juneteenth, being able to promote our Black and brown businesses. And then also just seeing the economic impact that it had, where those businesses were able to bring in over $50,000 of revenue in that one afternoon. So kind of reflecting on everything that we saw the second year, we said, all right, we need to make this official. We need to make it a business. We need to really make a structure to that. And having that idea of, we're going into a space and we're making it our space, not just my organization, but you think about those 75 businesses. You think about all the businesses that represent Reeltown or that corridor. You think about all the nonprofits and corporations that come together that make these events possible. That's really what we wanted to be the foundation and the center of this organization. So OurSpace was birthed that summer, I think August of 2022. And now we're just kind of chipping away. We're expanding our programming, and then we're also able to help other organizations do some of the things that we found success in doing.
So are you, until now, have you been operating kind of organically, and now you're getting bricks and mortar space, or were you in another space that just wasn't suiting your needs?
No. So extremely organic. So up until this point, we have utilized. I'm going to shamelessly plug Blue Owl. That has been our community office for the past couple of years. So we do most of our meetings there, but everything is virtual. And then that idea of going into a space and activating it. So we haven't had a brick and mortar space, and actually the development of OurSpace Foundation, which is our nonprofit side, that's actually a new development. So being able to have that brick and mortar where we're able to come together, strategize, work with our different clients and organizations that we're supporting, that is something that's going to be new and needed. But before we were really just kind of coming together as we were able to, finding different spaces to meet, and then when it's time to do our actual programming, kind of going into those spaces and creating space for the community.
So where is your space going to be?
We're still talking about it.
Okay.
It's kind of up in the air. I know we're looking at downtown, but after talking with iDevelopment, I don't want to say too much because it's still kind of up in the air. They have a ton of properties. So we will start kind of going through just different properties and seeing what best fits our needs in the coming weeks. But right now, we're looking in the downtown area and really hoping to, just establish roots central Lansing.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Juneteenth, you mentioned Hispanic Heritage Weekend, and I think most of our listeners can wrap their brains around, a celebration around those things. Mm-hmm. The Wellness Weekend, Financial Wellness Weekend, and Soul Lounge. Can you explain a little bit about those three programs?
Absolutely. So I'll start with the Soul Lounge. So on one hand, we are organizers, we're entrepreneurs, we are passionate about our community. Our organization is also made up of different business owners, artists, and musicians as well. So I'm actually an artist and a musician. And a lot of what OurSpace started as, I would say, is kind of selfish. When I think about the lack of opportunities for local artists to have really platforms that are equitable and that really took you to that next level. I would say from my experience growing up and doing like the whole local performance circuit, they would cap local artists off at $100. So for me, having a 5-piece band, we would go home with a few McChickens and we would call it a day. So the night at the Soul Lounge was one of our first big concerts that we put on here in the Lansing area back in 2019. And when we really decided that we wanted to create this business structure where we're activating corridors, the first idea was that we would do that throughout the summer. So having something to do, a different festival, a different program each month of the summer. But then we also realized, if the biggest complaint that we get in Lansing is there's nothing to do, let's create programming throughout the year that really builds anticipation up into our summer programming. So we decided to bring a night at the Soul Lounge back, which is our monthly residency. It goes from January through May, and that leads us up into our summer program. So that event, we just wrapped up our last one. All 5 of them sold out, so that was really, really exciting just to see us. I'm surprised we didn't have any fire marshals come out, though. I'll say that. But it was a fabulous time, just mixing hip-hop, soul, live instrumentation, our bands, and then just a safe space for us all to come together and really just enjoy each other, enjoy community. So that's the night at the Soul Lounge. That leads us into Juneteenth. Yep. So we'll do our Juneteenth weekend next weekend, actually. Right. And then from there, we'll be activating the South MLK corridor. So we'll be in Logan Square, and we'll be doing our health and wellness series. So when you think about health and wellness, there's obviously the physical component, there's the mental component, but financial wellness is also wrapped into all of those things as well. So we're really looking to promote holistic wellness and activating spaces that historically are neglected. You think about just that corridor in particular, that is our most diverse corridor when you think about cultures and languages represented. And it's also one of our most low income areas. So to be able to go into a space where we know development is going to happen there, we know Logan Square is going to look a lot different in the next 10 to 15 years, but we want to make sure that the people that have always been there are at the center of that development. So going in and really finding ways to promote health and wellness, the same way that we do Juneteenth. So we'll do a health and wellness conference where we're able to leverage a lot of our sponsors and our partners, ranging from LAFQ to Rite Aid to MSU Healthcare to Lake Trust. All of these, we call them our content experts, where we're able to create the platform and they're able to share information around health and wellness for the community. And then we'll also have our guest speakers kind of come in, and then we cap it off with our arts and culture festival. So really looking to promote health and wellness in a corridor that's been forgotten in a sense, and really looking to establish roots as knowing that development is going to happen in the future. So that's our health and wellness series. And those are kind of our 3 main focuses, is the physical, the mental wellness, and then also the financial wellness.
Fantastic. Well, I want to take a quick break and thank our sponsors. When it comes to creating commercial and residential spaces, we're on that great topic right now. There's no one I trust more than my friends at the Forsberg Real Estate Company. Brent Forsberg and his team take a holistic approach to creating an environment that suits your needs while creating a foundation for a prosperous community. Since the 1950s, Forsberg has been a name to trust if you're looking to partner on a project, occupy a great space to live or work, or to simply follow one of the great thought leaders in our state. Reach out to my friends at Forsberg Real Estate Company by calling 517-349-9330 or check out their website at lansingrealestate.com. You won't regret it. And that's right up your alley, right? These guys are, I mean, you've got there's a kinship there. So I know you know Brent and his team, and hopefully you can bear some fruit out of that relationship as you move forward.
Absolutely. So
where can people, where did you find the people that are on your team? Okay. Like I mentioned in prep for this, I went on your website and you've got a squad, right? Yeah. You've got people that are there that seem to have the same kind of passion, great photographs, great little bios and what they do. How'd you find them? How'd you guys connect?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say a lot of it was needed finding. It's interesting that you even bring that up. After we did the first Juneteenth festival, I would say a lot of that work kind of naturally fell on me, just the day-to-day and making sure that the event happened. But some of the best advice that I got was actually from a friend. He's a muralist that goes by Muramatics, and he told me, just watch and see how people show up for you, and that's going to be your team. Right. So knowing, that we had volunteers and just different people who wanted to be involved. The team today are the same people that were there at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, helping me take stages down, helping me take basketball hoops down and put those together for the Kids Zone, and really just championing what this mission was. So our team is made up, like I said, of different artists, community members, business owners, but they're also, I would call them, really good friends of mine as well. So I'll say Hezekiah Trevino, who's one of our co-directors, he's leading our Hispanic Heritage Weekend. That's one of my best friends. So we've gone through a ton of different phases together, whether it's our first band together to being here now with OurSpace. Martin Hernandez, who's our creative director. If you've seen any of our videos, he makes us look probably cooler than we are, but we've been really good friends for years. Anastasia Trevino is actually Hezekiah's wife, but that's also a sister of mine. Okay. So she does a lot of the administrative stuff, really helping out with our project management. Keontae Saxon is a good friend of mine as well. So he's co-directing and helping lead the Health and Wellness Weekend. And just kind of noticing that we all have our different passions and our own things that we bring to the table. It makes it a shared vision. And then we also have Tisha Johnson, who's on the team as one of our project managers and helping co-direct the Health and Wellness Weekend as well. I would say out of everyone, Tisha was one of the ones who I met through Juneteenth. And it's funny because I actually came into our volunteer area that we had set up just to kind of check in. I'm running around doing a little bit of everything that first year. And Tisha's just like, she's handling it. She's like passing out shirts, organizing people, telling people like, you need to be here. I'm like, who is this lady? And that was my first connection with Tisha, and just seeing how she really championed, like saw the vision. This was also her vision and got behind it completely. That really said a lot, and that was really the testament to all of these individuals. And like I said, OurSpace, maybe the name came from me, but it's really a shared vision where we all have this idea of what we want Lansing to be like. So it's really easy for us to come together and work to make that happen.
So how can people learn more? We're bumping up against the clock, but OurSpace 517. What's your website or social handles? Absolutely.
So ourspace517.com is our website, so you all can definitely check us out there. As so far as social media, it's the same thing, at ourspace517. You can also check us out on LinkedIn, Facebook, just catch up on the work that we're doing. Outside of our events and our programs, you'll also see us supporting other organizations, so you can also catch that online. And then also you can come out to our events, so we can see you at Juneteenth, Health and Wellness in August, or the Hispanic Heritage Weekend in September.
Fantastic. And Michelle, thank you so much. Can you tell me whether there's going to be another wave of Lansing Built to Last? Or
yes, maybe.
I can't thank you enough for your leadership in all of this and the leadership you provide. So we've been talking with the Vice President of Community Outreach and Customer Operations for Techsmith, Michelle Massey, and this year's winner of the Lansing Built to Last, founder and director of OurSpace 517, Mr. Mikey Austin. All the best and continued success to you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.